Good weekend. Ira Epstein, and here we are with your financial market wrap-up, your weekend edition. So we'll look at weekly charts. But let's get to the day's event before we do anything. And the day's event was my take on what Fed Chair Powell said today. By now, you know the stock markets took off. You saw interest rates drop, the dollar tank. He said he's now accepting that inflation is going to rise a while. The Fed will watch it rise and not fight it at this time. I think that's very important. So they're going to let that go. Then the jobs market. This is what I interpreted, the Fed is going to be proactive to help the labor market. The Fed may, not will, the Fed may lower interest rates in September if the CPI, PPI, and the August jobs report aren't looking shockingly higher. Now, he already said that they've calculated the important PCE number to come out at 2.9%. So their calculations are there. We won't get that till next week, but it's not a hard calculation. So he's already built that in. And what he said, if the interest rate break isn't in September, if for some reason PPI, CPI, the jobs come out shockingly strong, a cut is still in play over time, over the remaining meetings of this year. What's clear to me is that the downward revisions in the last jobs report have spooked the Fed chair, and that got him into shifting his gears. I'm a little concerned that we might be going into a stagflation environment, and that could be a case. So in essence, we've seen a shift in the Fed. They're willing to accept, according to him, or he is at least, willing to accept a bit of inflation coming. They think they understand now how the tariffs are working. They expect them to climb and cause inflation, but not dramatically so. And they think that once it peaks out, it will start the other way. I don't know if that's right, wrong, or indifferent, but they're taking a different tack. And the shift is back to looking at labor, not concentrating so much on inflation. That sent the futures market soaring. The gold market, which you know I like a lot, inflation, he said it's coming. That's got to be a favorite trade. The silver market up dramatically. The copper market not moving. 150 points on a day like today was nothing, and platinum really didn't move. The dollar got beaten up pretty good, 90 points, and the euro went up 111. Energy markets, stable. How can I say that? The fact that you broke so much in the dollar gives a little bit of a bid to grain markets and other markets as well. So those are the things you want to look at. The tour report that I saw from Pro Farmer, they finished up, and it could be a little more friendly for the corn than people think. They're cutting the acreage 6 bushels an acre from all the areas as an aggregate that they saw. That's way more than the USDA. So what did we do? We're at an all-time high close on a monthly chart at this point in time. You're up for the month now. Remember, it's only the 22nd, 1.71%. On the weekly chart, an all-time high close. When you come over to the weekly bar chart, you're just shy of it. You made your move back up. You've got higher lows, higher highs on the swing line. The market never did make it back to the 18-day average. Retaining the market might require it to get up towards the 6,700 level in the Bollinger Band. We'll find out. You have the embedded readings, and you've had them in place. So off the weekly charts, this just is a continuation. The action that shook people up was the 5 days in a row of breaks on the daily chart, but you don't see that on a weekly chart because the market came back and made all that up. When we come to the Dow, this was the high, and now you finally have taken out. It leaves one market that hasn't done that, and that's going to be the Russell. You'll see that in a minute. You're back up in the NASDAQ. Today was a good gain day. And again, the embedded reading at work, the embedded reading at work in the Russell, not yet to the highs. So we're waiting for that one to do it. Now, could the market set back early in the week? You know, you get a gain like this, the only way you make money is taking some money off the table. I'm not saying you won't see more buying, but it would not surprise me on this size gain to see the market come back and try to consolidate some of the gain. In the DAX, Well, the market there, we'll see if it can follow suit and rally up to the Bollinger Band. It's going to be good news for Europe. And remember, when the Fed did this at 9 in the morning, you got to figure that was afternoon time there. They did get a chance to see all this. In the bond market, you have a higher high and a lower low. The market did come on a weekly chart back to the 18-day average and hold it. We'll see if the market can get through the resistance points of the 200, which is just starting to show up here, and the 100-day average if it rallies. In the 10-year notes, you did rally back to the Bollinger Band, but you got to remember the long end of the market is not where the Fed action is going to take place. It's going to take place in the shorter end. In the dollar, again, you couldn't get through that 18-day average and stay there. So is the market going back? And I think that's the question, to the 96.32 area. As you know, I did a dollar report and I said it can go either way here. This is a patch for it. We'll find out what it's going to do. In the euro, are you going to make a new high on the move, or is the market overbought enough where you back off a little bit from there? Again, you had big moves today. Will they follow through on Monday? The Canadian dollar, Mark Carney took off retaliatory tariffs against the U.S. where possible. So it's the first move that he's got himself trying to get into a better favor position with the president. You've got to remember, a lot of what Canada does with the U.S. is covered by the USMCA. The amount of tariffs on their goods amounts to about 7% that comes in to the country. So it's not like it's a backbreaker. I think what's really hurt this relationship is the U.S. treatment of Canada and the Canadian people. It's wrong. Real simple, wrong. We'll see what happens with the trade, and it's a good move that Carney made. In the Japanese yen, it is still fighting for direction. You have the swing line up, but you're under the 18-week average. The momentum's trying to climb a little with the market. Bitcoin, even though it was up sharply today, for the week, it is down 0.33%. Couldn't quite get down here. You still have a lost bullish embedded reading. You have to go up and make a new all-time high to prove that that's the whole break that the market's going to have. The differential between Brent and WTI widening out again here. You can see what you're doing. You're just sitting at the 18-week average in the Brent. You have no trend in WTI, higher high and lower low. And you're looking at Rebob gasoline refusing to stay for very long periods under that 18-week average. But it takes more than this to get a real rally going. That's what we're going to find out. I don't see a bullish setup on that at this point in time. So, one of the ways to keep up with what we do when we write our newsletters and all is the free offerings that we make available. Part of it's the guide to technical indicators. You can see this, but it's our futures trading kit, our charting software. I can go on and on. My twice daily written updates. If you haven't tried it, you get to try it from there. The Linn research, which is phenomenal, especially with the grain harvest right around the corner. You're going to want to really hear about that. What about the meat markets on fire and pricing? Had a cattle on feed report today. Looked to me like the report wasn't as bullish as traders might have thought. So we'll see. I'm looking at the placements on feed and the marketings. But to get it, just move your cursor to the top up here or go to iraepstein.com. Couldn't be easier. iraepstein.com. Either one of those will do it. Go to the free offer section and away you go. You'll learn all these different tools that we have, work with some of them, and hopefully get yourself some better education and maybe help you with trading. iraepstein.com, you'll see free offers. Take care.